Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Neuro-Inclusive Dog Pod. This is a podcast where we bridge the gap between neurodiversity and the dog world. Today, I have got another fantastic guest for you, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So, hello, Nikki. Welcome to the podcast. Could you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Hi, yes, thank you for having me. I'm Nikki Birkett, the Yorkshire Canine Coach. I primarily work with anxious, fearful dogs, the ones that need that little bit of extra support and TLC, and also an awful lot of our lovely overseas dogs as well, who have a little bit of a different way of thinking sometimes.
Yeah, I love. I have got a little bit of a soft spot for anxious dogs as well. Knowing that's in agility, tends to be the area that I tend to focus on, or anxious handlers. So, I think there's anybody that's doing anxious dog work is kind of a little passion area of mine. So, well done for that. So this podcast is all about neurodiversity and bridging the gap between the neurodiverse world and the dog trainer world, dog professional world. Can you share a little bit more about where you are on that journey and how that kind of path has influenced you as a dog trainer, or what you've done in that respect?
Yes, so I was late diagnosed ADHD last year, with autism traits as well, which I haven't had an assessment for. I can see them, to be fair. Um, and it was, on the one hand, it's a shock, and on the other hand, it all made sense. A lot of it made because dog training isn't it's not always been what I do. I had a career beforehand. It was a corporate career. And when you look back, you can see why you never seem to fit into that environment. Why, when they started to put more procedures in place, that it actually made things harder for you.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't your way of working. It wasn't how you could do it. You had a system, it worked. People try to change it for you, it gets more difficult. And now you understand why.
Yeah.
In terms of the dog training, it's it's actually really nice because you can find a way to make things work for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I got into dog training because of my lovely dog Coco, who unfortunately we've lost her recently, but she was the reason. She pivoted my life and made me see that things don't have to be the way they've always been.
Yeah, and I think that's really
And
important.
yeah, it's that empathy and being able to understand her and applying that back onto yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we all, as dog trainers or anybody in the dog profession, we always have that one dog that kind of starts it all, don't we? And then leads us like into a path. So for me, it was Milo. And when I got him, I was definitely nowhere, not even thinking about becoming a dog trainer. I was just got him because I was so anxious. I couldn't leave the house and I wanted a reason to force myself to leave the house, basically. And I think he led me down this path to where I am now. And I think it's that, like you say, you become, as a neurodivergent person, I think we've got that level of empathy and that extra level of empathy, haven't we? And for me, one of the reasons I went down this neurodivergent route, especially with a podcast and wanting to spread as much awareness as possible, is because like the two worlds sometimes don't mix very well. So I was the one that always felt out of place and like I wasn't getting it, and that my dog was doing certain things and the trainer wasn't really telling me why he was doing certain things, but my brain needed to know that next level of information. And I think we, as along with having the dog that kind of influences our path and makes us go a certain way, I think for me neurodivergence has definitely made me do things a lot differently, and that's why I want to bring it to the dog world as well. So when it comes to your own business and how you've done things, have you found ways to adapt your business and or your training approach to make it to best suit your needs as a neurodivergent person? Can you expand on that a little bit if you've done any of that?
Yeah, it's not been without its ups and downs, that's for
Yeah.
sure. When I first, obviously, I transitioned my business. So if I'm doing it part-time, then dropping the full-time job and swapping it over.
Yeah.
And when I first did it, I was so determined for unknown reasons to stick to that. Right, I work 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But you don't as a dog trainer because you work 9 to 5 and then you've got your evening classes and, the training.
Yeah.
And I could only do that for so long
Yeah.
before. And this is before I even realized that I was neurodivergent.
Mm.
You can, and you just hit burnout totally. And I didn't know why, usual doctors, anxiety, depression.
Yeah.
um, and I think it was probably nearly 3 years ago, possibly two, where I thought, I've got to stop trying to put myself into this box of this is when I must work.
Yeah.
So looked at, right, okay, when am I tired?
Mm.
Because that's obviously not a good way. And just through understanding myself a bit better, I've come to the bit where I say, right, I am blocking out X amount of days in my diary
Hmm.
for non-committal days.
Yeah.
I might do a bit of work, I might not, I might do housework, I might go out and play with my dogs.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but they are just non-committal days, and I tend to have 2 of them a week. I have
Yeah.
a day off with family, and then the other days are the ones where I say, right, they're business days.
Yeah.
But I have to keep it general.
Yeah.
I have to say they're business days. I can't say I'm going to do that on that day every week and that, because it puts the pressure on me to then go, oh my God, I've got to do that. I
Yeah.
have to do that. I have to get that done. And then my brain just shuts down and goes, we're not doing it. Can't
Yeah.
do that today. So, and then you're stuck
Yeah. Definitely.
for
It's
hours.
definitely Definitely. It's definitely something I've found so from having both autism and ADHD, it very much depends on my brain on the day whether I get up and go, right, this is going to be like a hyper focus day. I'm going to get all of this done. And then I might wake up the next day and go, well, actually, the autism side of my brain wants routine, it wants structure and things. So I very quickly found that normal traditional ways of doing anything, whether that's, I don't know, agility training, running my dog business, or teaching people, I can't have this one structured way of, I will teach every, I don't know, every Tuesday at this time. Because what happened was, like you say, I put all those clients in, but I wasn't allowing any time for like kind of rest in between or how I was feeling. And I very quickly burnt out, and I didn't realize what was going on at the time. I just completely burnt out and thought, I don't even like agility anymore. Why am I doing that? And completely stopped doing it for a while, knowing now it was burnout and stuff, and come back and change what I do. And I think that's a really important thing when it comes to neurodivergence. It's being allowed to do things flexibly and saying, right, well, some days, and there's never in my monthly calendar, so to speak, even though I do tend to do clients on a Thursday morning, it can be some Thursday mornings but not others. It's not a set kind of pattern type of thing.
Yeah, it's like I've with the obviously we're coming into summer now, so I started my hoopers back up. And before I used to go, right, we're going to do hoopers every Wednesday at X time, run the class. And I like you said, I found myself kind of going, I'm not enjoying this anymore.
Yeah.
So this year and last year, and it worked so well last year, I said, right, I'm going to do hoopers once a month, but I'm going to make the class longer.
Yeah.
And that really works because it's keeping that excitement there for me. And
Yeah.
I taught, we were doing it last night, and I absolutely love it again. It's
Yeah.
brilliant, and I'm loving the partnerships between the dogs and the handlers. And it is, you've got to find a balance. So, I know once a month I am doing that. That's fine. But I will be conscious of my diary both that day and the day after.
Yes.
Um, so for example, I would do clients hoopers on a Tuesday night. I'll do clients on a Tuesday morning, but leave myself that gap in
Yeah.
between. so that I can either do some admin, I can take my dog out, I can do whatever, but it's just that gap to recharge myself.
Yeah.
Rather than going, right, let's do it all in one go, which I used to try to do. Let's be as
Yeah.
efficient as possible and get everything done in one bulk.
Yeah.
And no. And then so this morning I made sure I didn't start anything until 10, so that I just had a little bit of time to again recharge myself before I got going again.
Yeah, and I think that's important, isn't it? I always talk about with my coaching clients from a when I've got my business coaching head on is I talk, explain it a little bit like a battery and how we've got our social battery, but we've kind of got our energy batteries as well, where we have certain activities that will charge us and like lift us up, and then we'll have ones that drain us as well. And I think when we're teaching people, I think it is like one of the main things that I realized is it's kind of like the elephant in the room that we teach people, we teach dogs, and some of those clients unfortunately will be ones that kind of drain us a little bit more, and that could be for a whole host of reasons. It could be the dog's more problematic, it could be the handlers maybe not on board with rewarding as much as we want to reward. It could be a whole host of things, and as dog trainers we solve people's problems. That's usually what we do. And I think from a neurodivergent perspective, I used to do the whole, right, I'm going to teach a block of people on this day. And if you're not careful, like kind of who you're booking and when you're booking and when you're giving yourself time to recharge in between those, I think that's when we can come back and have a day where we're like, oh my God, I just want to lie down in a dark room, I can't cope anymore. And I think it's being aware of that, but not only our social battery in terms of, oh, today is going to be a teaching day, it's who you're booking in on that day. I mean, obviously, we're going to talk about ideal clients a little bit later on, but it's having that awareness of thinking, actually, this dog is going to be quite a hard dog, but I can deal with it, I can cope with it, but actually I'm going to give myself an early lunch break and I'm going to go for a walk or whatever it is that recharges you. It can be sometimes quite difficult to admit that, because I think in the dog training industry we always have to be a certain way, and we have to provide a service, and we have to fit as much in as possible, and we want to make as much money as we can, and have as an efficient diary as possible. But I think from a neurodivergent perspective, it's sometimes hard to do that in that neurotypical way, isn't it?
It is. And I think one of the most important things that we need to remember is that's okay.
Yeah.
And not to feel guilty because you feel I should be doing that, I should be doing this. And spin it a little bit and think, okay, these clients have chosen to work with me for a reason. Therefore, they deserve to get the best of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get to make sure that I can provide that by only seeing X amount of clients a week, if that's how you work, or I'm going to do all the frustration clients on one day. Maybe that's how it's down to the individual. Or you might say one of those clients maybe you've not connected with as well, but they're doing really well, and then you'll put a different client in afterwards, so you're ending on that slightly easier social battery rather than and kind of doing it that way around. So it's the order you book them in as well sometimes.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I think it's so important. And I think it's things that are overlooked as well, because we tend to think, right, our diary, we need to put these people in. And like you say, we want to give everybody the best of us. And I think as neurodivergent people, this is where I found I was masking quite a lot, because I was giving that energy to my clients and they're all getting the same kind of service, but I was coming away completely like exhausted and thinking, oh, why is this? And it wasn't until I realized or got my diagnosis or even knew about me being neurodivergent that I actually thought, this is why, and things started to make sense. So when it comes to anybody else that's in the dog world as a dog professional, when it comes to running their business, what kind of advice or guidance would you say to them if they're thinking, oh, I'm struggling with this, or what do I need to bear in mind, type of thing?
It sounds really easy to say it. And that used to really annoy me as well, because people would say, oh, just try this, and I'd be like, I can't. I can't do that. I've got this, but it's say acknowledge yes, I'm having problems with that,
Yeah.
and problems aren't going to magically go away.
Yeah.
So let's look at a few strategies that are going to make it slightly easier. Breaking, I'm in the process at the minute of overhauling an awful lot of things.
Hmm.
And if I sit and think about that, I'm very easily going to feel overwhelmed and stuck and just go do anything but. So
Yeah.
you need it, as old school as it sounds, you do need to break it down into smaller steps.
Mm.
Even if that small step is, I'm going to open the computer.
Yeah.
And it just has to be that smaller step. Don't try to overload your to-do list.
Yeah.
As good as you are feeling that morning or the
Yeah.
night before when you go to bed, do not pack that to-do list.
Mm.
Um, Mainly because no one cares if you get it done, but
Yeah.
you'll feel guilty and you'll
Yeah.
be hard on yourself. So put two, maybe three things on it,
Yeah.
and anything extra you get done, brilliant. Still write it down and tick it off though, because that's that sense of, little dopamine hit that you get.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing I'd say is, if you can sort things into, this must be done now, this
Hmm.
is important, and actually this can wait.
Yeah.
Um, it does help when you're sat there going, I have got so much to do and I don't know where to start. Um, Even if it's just one of them that you pick out and go, right, I promise that person it by 4 o'clock, I will do that.
Yeah.
And then if the none of the others are in the now, close your laptop, go do something else, pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't try necessarily to always push yourself. There are times when you need to push yourself.
Yeah.
Um, but also recognize the times where this genuine, I need a bit of self-care right now. I need
Yeah.
to go read a book. The other thing that I have found amazingly helpful is
Hmm.
body doubling.
Oh yeah.
So I will jump on Zoom if I've got a couple of friends, and they're not even in the dog training industry,
Hmm.
and we'll jump on a Zoom call and we will do whatever we've set aside just for an hour a day. So
Yeah.
it's working on the business rather than in it.
Yeah.
I also have them for the study that I do, so that we have little study sessions, and they're studying something completely different, but it's just
Yeah.
that bit of time knowing that there's somebody there with you and they're doing
Yeah.
it too. And that is one of the best things that I've implemented.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that kind of is that like that level of accountability, isn't it? And that I always say this from any kind of whatever we're doing, whether it's like training our own dogs, running our businesses, whatever it is, it's that breaking it down into little pieces, but having that level of accountability of someone just there to, you might not need them for help or anything, but it's just to be accountable to get stuff done. And I think it's like for me with like fitness, if I've got it's not particularly something I enjoy, but something I need to do because my dog is pretty fast at agility. So it's like if I'm accountable, like to my husband, no, because he goes to gym all the time, or my personal trainer. If I don't do it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get told off. And as a neurodivergent person, you don't want any criticism, so it makes me do it.
No.
so,
Oh no, I can't take criticism. It's funny that.
so
Yeah, and they sometimes directly ask for it as well.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think that's it. We put this certain level of pressure on ourselves, don't we, to get stuff done. And I've got, when you run your own business, or even when you're training a dog, you'll always have that never-ending to-do list of stuff you need to do, because there's always that next level to go to. And I find that a lot, like and that's when it becomes completely overwhelming, because we're like, oh, well, I've got to do this, but then to get to the next level, I need to do this, 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 and this. And I think we put that certain level of pressure
Yeah.
on ourselves. And I think when
And
it comes to, have you found that when it comes to your dog business, it, sometimes you put this unnecessary pressure on yourself to get stuff done?
absolutely, yeah, yeah. And it takes several people, because I'm a sharer.
Yeah,
Anyone who's listening, oh my God, I've got to do this and this and this and this. And I was
yeah,
doing it this morning and they just sat there and looked at me and went, don't you think that's quite a lot?
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
yeah. And the thing is as well, I don't know, a lot of us will be the same, to hold it in my head. So it's
Yeah.
all in here swimming around. And I certainly, with the ADHD journey, I've kind of gone, well, there's no point in making a list. Lists don't work.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the list might not work, but I need to write it down because otherwise it's never ever going to get out of here at all.
Yeah.
So even if I have several different lists, I have different formats for keeping lists.
Yeah.
I have mind map apps. I say I have. I've only started using it this week, so we get
Yeah.
to see how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Where you put it all in and it organizes it for you. And
Yeah.
but yes, I do have put so much pressure on myself. My accounts must be up to date. I haven't posted enough on socials.
Yeah.
You know, everything. Oh, I haven't chased up on that client. I need to drop in on that one. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It,
definitely.
It is my, I have a little bit of a flip side to that because I tend to, since I've discovered like voice noting things and voice like apps that transcribe your, you know, your voice to things and things like Chat GPT and stuff, I have a bit of a problem with it in terms of I'll go to Chat GPT, or I never get the name right, but you know, any AI kind of thing, and I'll say, right, I want to do this, and I'll have a little bit of a chat with him, it's a him in my world, and
Mine's a him as well.
yeah, we'll put it in, well, put it into there. But then what happens is, because I've told him that and we've kind of got this plan and got it done, that dopamine's been like, that fulfillment has been done and it's been ticked off. And I sometimes just don't do the work, and it never leaves my little app of Chat GPT, it just stays there. And I'm like, so for me, I'm like, I have to make a conscious effort to it, although it's nice to have a catalogue of things that, oh, I could do this idea, I could do that idea. Sometimes I forget and I'll go, right, well, I want to, you know, I want to formulate this or whatever. Then that's it. That's it's come out of my brain, and in my brain,
True. Yeah.
I've not actually put it out to the world. It's still in my little kind of world.
I did have that thought earlier this morning because I was having a chat to Chat GPT
Yeah.
about something that I wanted to do, and I thought, I wonder if I'll remember to do this.
Yeah.
How can I make it more likely? So I thought, I'm still pondering, should I copy and paste it and print it off, or
Yeah.
put the conversation on a nice Canva document and stick it on my wall?
Yeah, it is. It's finding those ways, isn't it, that help us. And
Yeah.
I'm very pen and paper. So you know, if it's in my app or if it's there and if it's not printed out in front of me, it tends to get forgotten. And if it depends on how you know how important it is, whether it actually comes back out of that virtual list, so to speak.
Yeah. And then you'll pick your notebook up a few months later because you've done that app, you've done that list. Now you're back on your notebook.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you pick your notebook up and you're kind of looking through it going, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And then you become
And I have
overwhelmed.
to laugh at myself.
Yeah.
You can't take it too seriously. So
No. And I think that's part of being a neurodivergent, isn't it? It's like I say, I've got hundreds and hundreds of notebooks from when I was training years ago, and I'll write down the idea of a workshop, or I'll write down some other training plan, and then I'll forget about it. They're all over there in like a little pile, and then I'll look through it and go, oh, that was a really good idea. I must do that again. And then you have all these notebooks and become overwhelmed, and then it's like this cycle of what do I actually need to do? So
yeah. And there are some, like, I have some clients who they're really good because I'll tell them some of the ideas I've had so
yeah,
that they will then prompt me
yeah.
and go, oh, have you thought any more about doing that? It was really good. We'd really like to do it. And they also kind of help me a little bit as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the things I've noticed as a neurodivergent. I work very well. I work a lot more under pressure. So if like someone says, you know, I think, oh, I've got a course to pass, but I've got to pass it in 6 months' time. The deadline's there. Whereas I'm the type of person that probably about a week before I'll go, actually, I need to knuckle down. If I know, I always work really good to a tight deadline. But you mentioned there about ideal client, like your clients basically. And I think when it comes to being a neurodivergent, one thing I've massively noticed is since being more open and authentic and accepted that kind of this is me, this is who I am kind of thing. And the more I started putting that out on social media and talking about not only the strengths of it, but the struggles as well. What's happened with me is I've been getting my ideal client has kind of changed in a way, and I'm getting people that resonate with me a lot more and are people that understand a lot more, and making sure that my values, because one of the little bits of disconnect I got before is because, as especially when you're teaching agility, I was teaching a lot of beginners, and there's nothing wrong with beginners, nothing wrong with that, but my brain, with it being so attention to detail and so focused and black white, that kind of thinking, I now have transitioned into doing agility behavior, because when I was teaching a lot of beginners just want to have fun, and not all of them, but some of them, and there's often, when it comes to dog sports, a lot more going off than just the actual fun bit of it. And although every dog trainer trains that level of, we need to do X, Y, and Z, and your dog's, maybe a little bit stressed, or they're overwhelmed, or they're overexcited, kind of thing. One of the things that I found is my values, and what my internal values were when it comes to, like, I don't know, dog behavior, or maybe running my business, or how I was as a person, they were getting squashed a little bit. And I think when it comes to being neurodivergent, one of the biggest changes I've made is really knuckling down on my values and my working style, and who am I actually aligned to, and who's going to get me the most. Have you found that you tend to attract a certain type of client in your business?
Yes, yeah, definitely. It's slowly changed over the
Yeah.
past few years. Yeah. It was looking at kind of like the businesses as well that you're affiliated with. And what type, do they align with your values or not? And it's sometimes hard to cut that tie if they're not.
Yes.
But it does all help you find that ideal client base. It's very much I'm very similar to you in that the why is important to me.
Yes.
Why is the dog doing this? Why does the dog feel like this? What can we
Yeah.
do to help them? And I think how we work, and I'm thinking carefully about how to word this so it comes out right,
Yes. All
is,
right.
we, I think, like I said, I had a career before and I didn't get a lot of job satisfaction about that. It was all
Yeah.
very, the world revolves around money. Whereas doing this job, we do get the job satisfaction. And
Yeah.
that is a massive thing for us. We need that feeling of achievement, of a satisfaction.
Yeah.
And if we don't be honest with ourselves and be honest with the public in terms of what we represent,
Yeah.
that's going to get less and less and less.
Yeah.
So certainly I shifted the way I did a lot of my social media.
Yeah.
But if I'm not comfortable with it, it shouldn't be
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
Um, so it shifted into more looking at the root causes, not saying, oh, look what I can do. Look what I've done. Look at this,
Yeah.
like, look at this dog now. It's more
Yeah.
discussing the underneath of everything.
Yeah.
Because that way, if people are reading that and it's not their bag and they just want their dog to come back from I can't think of an example right now, but
Yeah.
they just want their dog to do X, Y, and Z. They want their dog to go sit on the stairs when someone comes to the door and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we're not going to vibe well together.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
want to know, right, well, why is the dog barking at the door? Is it
Yeah.
just because it's fun? In which case, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So certainly the way you put yourself out there, I haven't by any means hidden that I'm neurodiverse going on up here.
Yeah.
I have I don't put it in every post either though, it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I found out about myself.
Yeah.
We're just going to make some changes the way things go. But I will happily chat about it with anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
Um, it is important to be honest, though,
Yeah.
when we're doing I don't know if a lot of people do discovery calls. Depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is nice to have a chat to people, and it usually comes up in that process somehow. I don't know
Yeah.
how, but it does.
Yeah.
And they may well share that actually they are too. And you
Yeah.
can then say, okay, so if we're working together, how is this going to work? And
Yeah.
then they tell more people, and
Yeah.
you just, I don't know, it's almost like the universe just wants you all together.
Yeah, it is. I completely get that. And I've always said everything happens for a reason. And I think that's like, although when I got my young dog Quest, although I thought he was, I thought he was going to be like, come out and just be one of these agility dogs that just, come out of the womb and just live for agility and stuff, which he does love agility, but he's got a lot of anxiety and things coming on, not only because of his own issues and when I got him and it was end of lockdown, that kind of thing, but because he was picking up very much on my anxiety, and you get like what I call the emotional feedback loop. He picks up on me, I pick up on him, and then unless you consciously break that cycle, it becomes difficult, doesn't it? And I think
Yeah.
it's kind of being accepting things and just saying, and and going back to everything happening for a reason. All of my business since I got him like 4 years ago has completely took a complete different direction, and I'm massively in line with thinking that everything does happen for a reason. And I wouldn't be doing this neurodivergent thing. I wouldn't be going down the anxious agility route as much if it wasn't for that dog. Now, if he'd have come out of the womb, loving agility and doing that, this part of my business wouldn't have been born. So it is kind of like believing that, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. You kind of align to the people. I always speak about it like a magnet. You kind of attract the people that are meant to be attracted to you, but then you will repel the other ones that aren't. And I think that can be a hard thing for neurodivergent people, can't it? That rejection and that,
Yeah.
doing things wrong, or they don't like me, or what if somebody
And we
thinks.
spend a lot of time kind of working with clients and kind of helping them see that, yeah, okay, in the past, what you may have done with your dog wasn't the best, but that's fine. You're here
Yeah.
now, and
Yeah.
we need to show that to ourselves as
Yeah.
well. Of
Yeah.
saying like, look, that person isn't for you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not personal.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
on that level anyway.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
you would have been more tired working with them, you would have got stress, and it's okay. So the next one that comes along could be the most amazing one in the world.
Yeah, and that's it. And it is that giving yourself that it's not everybody is for everybody. And I think that's the hardest thing, especially when you're compassionate and you care about dogs and you want to kind of save the world kind of thing. It is saying, well, you can't. Somebody said to me very early on in my dog training career that you can't save them all. And I think that's one of the, although it's the hardest thing to hear, because you want to save them all, you want to help. I go to agility shows and I see some dogs and I'm like, oh my gosh, to me, like, if only I can kind of like get my hands on them kind of thing. And I think it is true that you can't save them all. You've got to be open and honest to what our capabilities are as neurodivergent professionals, but also the capabilities of our clients and the the needs that they've got as well. I think and the expectations, expectations of what they want and in the time frames they've got to do it as well. So it's really important, isn't it, to look at the whole
And I
picture.
think when we're looking at ideal clients as well, it's really hard as well for a lot of people around talking about price point and things
Yeah.
like that. And that's a really hard thing to get over. Um, in that you are worth what you're charging.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because I
definitely.
think as neurodivergency has a horrible thing of saying you're not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't even think that's necessarily a neurodivergent thing. I think it can happen
Yeah.
for everybody with the imposter syndrome. But I think
Yeah.
obviously with the RSD, we feel it massively, it's amplified.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And if someone says to you, oh, that's expensive, reframe it in your mind to you're out of my budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just having them little phrases to hand to kind of say, it's okay. You don't have to flare up, brain. Come on. come back down
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's like I say, when people say that price point is such a kind of an awkward topic, isn't it, sometimes? And we try, and as dog trainers, what we tend to do, so some of us wrongly in some ways, we'll go, oh, what is everybody else charging in the area? I'll either undercut them or I'll be similar and stuff. And I think it's really difficult because we're so individual that our experiences and our expertise, I've tried really hard to not get that word wrong then, can be so so different, and it's all about so much other things as well. And I think, yeah, price point is a really tough one, especially when you've got clients that do say, oh no, I can't afford that, or well, because our brain automatically goes to, oh, there's something wrong with us, what am I doing wrong, when actually they're just saying it as a reflection of their circumstances at that moment, aren't they? So
yeah, and then you've also got that, oh my God, well, how am I going to help them? And I still need to be able
yeah,
to help them. And it's like, it's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's it. So, in terms of learning to work with your own neurodivergent traits rather than against them and kind of accepting them, how have you found that process?
It's, it's definitely still ongoing.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, it's been hard, I'll not lie. It's taken time, it's taken different forms of therapy,
yeah,
reaching out, you know, forming a little support network. There's some brilliant um groups out there where you can share, and sorry, everything just fell off.
that's all right.
um and it's you've got to forgive yourself
Yeah,
every time you feel like, I haven't done this, I must do this, I should do this. It's okay.
yeah,
um and it's been really hard to unlearn those musts that you've had instilled, especially as someone who's, like I said, late diagnosed and
yeah,
kind of coming to terms with it quite late on. It's been so programmed in that this is what you must do. This is the mask you must wear.
yeah,
Um, but at the same time, it's a really nice feeling of, I think I might be starting to know who I am.
yeah,
And that's so nice as well. And that again is, that all happens at the same time with then finding your ideal client, because it shows through in the way you present yourself, in your social posts and your website. And what I would say is it doesn't go like that. You've
no,
got days where it's a bit easier than others. You've got days where you lay there in bed and you're just like, I'm not depressed, but I can't get out of bed.
yeah,
And you just have to go, right, okay, that's fine. What's the first thing I need to do to get out of bed? Put my glasses on.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and it takes time. And if somebody had have said that to me when I was very first kind of dealing with the change,
mm,
I'd have went, oh well, that's easy for you to say.
yeah,
I really would have been, and I would probably have been quite resistant, but just give it time, be kind to yourself,
yeah.
and yeah, it's 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 just time.
Yeah, and I think for me, when I first got my diagnosis, I'm coming up for a year now, and I was in a different group, not a dog training group, and one of the person, because I was like, I was doing a lot more. I had a certain direction I was going with my business, and I was like, I've just been diagnosed. It kind of all makes sense now, and I don't want to do this anymore. And someone said, don't make any rash decisions, because it's going to
Yeah.
take you a lot of time to actually come to terms with it. And I kind of got my diagnosis and thought, no, this is it. This is it now. This is the end. It's kind of the end. I've got my answers, kind of thing, and I want to go in this day. Should be like, it's not a destination. It's like kind of the start of another journey, isn't it? And I think it's that
Yeah.
time. Someone said to me, don't give it time, don't make any rash decisions. And I was like, what? I couldn't understand it at the time, and I was like, that is the most ridiculous thing to say, because I've got my answer. And as time's gone by, even now coming up for a year on, I'm still learning things about myself and still being like,
Mm.
actually things do just take that little bit of time.
It does, because initially I was like, oh, well, I've got ADHD. That's why I can't concentrate on one thing at a time. It's, why I can't do that right now.
Yeah, yeah,
That's I can't do that right now. I can't explain why. I just can't. And it was like, right, okay. And it is, I think I touched on earlier, is at the beginning I very, very much was like, I can't do that. I have
yeah,
ADHD. I can't do that. And now it's like, well, okay, it might not be easy for me to do that. It doesn't mean I
yeah,
can't do it. It just means that maybe I need to say, I'm not in a place to do that right now, but I'm going to put it on this list I never look at.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
um, but do you know what I'm trying to say here is
yeah,
that, it's kind of like going from that I am ADHD and I can't do it to I have ADHD. It's going to be a bit more difficult for me. What can
yeah.
I do, or what can you do to help me?
Yeah, and just making those adaptations so you're not so you can still do it, but do it in a way that suits you. And I think that's a massive thing that I have through all of my many hats that I wear, whether it's agility, whether it's business coaching, whether it's neurodivergent stuff. It is that there is not really one size fits all. It's all about accepting where we are and being aware of our needs and adapting things to suit us so we can all have success and things. And I think you touched on there about communities and stuff. And one of the things that I've noticed since opening up the free Facebook group, the Neuro-Inclusive Dog Hub, and I opened that because I felt extremely lonely. And I was like, I can't be the only one feeling, I felt like, oh, I'm a bit weird. I'm a bit out of place. This is what's missing in the dog world. And I'm a very much believer if there's something missing, like, and if I need it, then other people need it, so I'll just go and create it. And then by creating just this small like Facebook group that hopefully will grow, I mean, it's got over 130 people I think in it now, but hopefully it's going to grow and grow and grow as time goes by and more people become aware of it. And what's happened is I'll put a post in there, or someone else will put a post in there, and it creates this community of people that don't feel alone anymore, that it's in a safe space for people to open up and be honest. And then other people go, oh, me too. And then instead of feeling alone and like you're the weird one, you're actually, well, no, this is what they're feeling, and I'm not weird. And they've overcome it by doing this, and that kind of
Yeah.
less lonely, isn't it?
And I have to admit as well that over the past year, I have managed to or they found me a really nice little support network.
Yeah,
And now they're all similar
yeah,
to me. And
yeah,
now I feel completely normal because we're all the same. And now
yeah.
when I go out places, I'm like, oh my God, not everybody's like me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Like, this is so weird.
Yeah, it's been one of the. In fact, I was just talking to my husband just before I came on to record this podcast with you, and I was saying to him, for me, one of the biggest things I have found so difficult is believing that everybody else, or thinking that everybody else's brain works in the same way as mine. And I'm like, it wasn't until a trainer friend of mine trained me the other day, and she was like, thing is, what I've noticed with you is there's this certain level of intensity about everything you do and attention to detail. I've got that, and I like this learning to a point, but I'm not as intense. Where does that intensity come from? And I said, oh, it's just my ADHD brain. And like, it got me thinking, I'm like, well, yeah, everybody, most people in our world that are neurodivergent get it because they're like it as well. But, you go out into the other aspects of the world and you're like, oh, this is weird. So what's completely normal to me is completely alien to someone else. It does take a little bit of adjusting, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it definitely does. Yeah, yeah. And like you say, I'll say things to a husband and he'll just sit there and look at me and like, where did that come from?
Yeah. Or you try and have 10 different conversations at one time, and like they're going, what the hell? But to me, it completely makes sense that we're swapping from one
Yeah,
subject to another.
yeah,
Like, what's wrong with
absolutely.
people?
Yeah.
So when it comes to your own experience of being neurodivergent, and do you find that helps you in the way that you structure your programs and classes and clients and stuff to be more inclusive? Do you think there's any tips you can share really to help other dog professionals listening to be more neurodivergent friendly?
Yes, definitely. It's certainly because everything that I had in place, and I have to admit I've been late on doing this because I had zero mental capacity for a lot of business things whilst our dog was
Yeah.
poorly. And now I do. You
Yeah.
know, she's not here, and I've got suddenly all this brain space is freeing up, and I'm kind
Yeah.
of like, oh, this all needs an overhaul. But everything that I'm doing is like, how would I receive that?
Yes.
How would that fit for me? Would I kind of go ick? Or, or would I go, oh
Yeah.
my God, that's so useful?
Yeah.
And I know that not all neurodivergent people have the same processes. We don't all need the same things, you know, and it
Yeah.
changes and varies. But I think that's a nice benchmark. Is if I
Yeah.
read that, would it appeal to me? So a lot of my programs used to be, this is your consult, this is the hour follow-up sessions you get.
Mm.
We communicate by this, and we do it on, you know, X amount of times.
Yeah.
And now I look at that and I just think, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can break the time chunks down a lot more. We can be really flexible with them.
Yeah.
Um, what method of communication? It's got to be a two-way conversation. What method is best for them
Yeah.
while
Yeah.
still maintaining my boundaries? You know, I
Yeah.
am answering the phone at 10 o'clock at night.
No. Yeah.
It's not even switched on. You know,
Yeah.
and just managing like that and just saying, look, how's best for you to communicate? I love WhatsApp because
Yeah.
everything's in one place. You can do voice notes, videos, photos, text,
Yeah.
whichever. I have some who just say, I don't want to do all this stuff. I just want an email where I can go on my laptop.
Yeah.
Um, and as much as we need to make things work for us, we need to
Hmm.
show the same grace to our clients as well and find
Yeah.
a nice medium. I got very, very strict when I learned about my ADHD. I got very strict and like, right, I need it to work like this for me
Hmm.
to be able to cope. And I
Yeah.
got far too strict about it, far
Yeah.
too strict. So like, I only want inquiries here, or you
Yeah.
know, you can earn, and we're going to. And honestly, the best thing has just been to just relax it a tiny bit, not a
Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
but just that having that tiny bit of flexibility for the people that need it, because they will appreciate that so much. And
Yeah.
it, from that, you're then helping the dog so much more.
Yeah. And I think
Which
that's
at the end
probably.
of the day, that's what we're in it for.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And that's always been a big thing for me. And coming from an agility point of view, I always say to people, like, we always concentrate on the dog or the skills or whatever. And I always speak about it like, our dog's got their own jigsaw, we've got our own jigsaw together, like, as handlers, and together those jigsaws need to align, and they need to come together at the right time with the right variables and stuff. And I think that's really important, and I think that's where our messaging comes in, and us being authentic and accepting things. And I think it's that level of having our boundaries but being open to being flexible for our clients. And I think the one thing that came up for me a couple of weeks ago is I was talking to somebody, and they were speaking about they were a neurodivergent client, and they had a behavior person before, and they were saying, right, they need to fill in this behavior diary and stuff, but the client got so overwhelmed just because of the paperwork, and they had to, there's paperwork everywhere, and they didn't really they didn't gel with the fact that they're having to put pen to paper. And I said to them, I said, well, what would have helped you? Would it be video? Would it be voice notes? And they was like, oh, if I could have just voice noted things down, that would have been so much simpler. And I think when it comes
Yeah.
to working with humans and their dogs, we need that level of compliance to get the results we want for the dog. But in order to get that, we need to adapt what we're doing for the actual individual. And I think sometimes as
Yeah.
dog trainers, we can be quite static in, we do it this way, we do it that way, and it's having that level of flexibility, isn't it? Because we're very compassionate
Yeah.
sometimes towards the dogs, but not so much towards the owners.
Yeah. I was working with a client once who was very similar, kind of like, I sent her a sample diary just so that she had a visual idea of what kind of things I was looking for.
Yeah.
And she couldn't do that. And that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But it was the solution for that was that every kind of like lunchtime and then bedtime, she'd message me that bit
Yeah.
of the day, and we worked like that. And then I've got other clients who will go away and make it a beautiful, massive project to collate
Yeah.
all this stuff and with video.
Yeah.
And I love both of them
Yes.
because I'm still getting the information we need to help, and they're
Yeah.
doing it in a way that's easy for them, which means that they're more likely to implement anything that needs to be changed or done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just accepting that, okay, for me, I might say I'd like to see it every 2 to 3 days, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I think that's it. I think it's so important, isn't it, to get that balance of, we need this information, we need you, because dogs need consistency and they need that kind of thing. But if we don't get the owners on board in a way that they feel safe and accepted, then we're not going to get the results with the dogs, because you can only go so far if you're just working on the actual dog itself, aren't you?
And it's just about, as well, you don't have that preconceived idea in your head of what we're going to do today, what we're going to achieve today,
Yeah.
because I mean, yes, you can have thoughts around what need doing, but
Mm.
certainly it depends on the dog and the human on that day
Yes.
as to what we're going to be able to work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do think that for certainly if it's the ADHD side of things, that pivoting and improvising is a little
Yeah.
bit easier. So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So for anybody that's listening that may be thinking about becoming a dog trainer or a dog professional and they are neurodivergent, what kind of advice and guidance would you give them if they're just in that starting point of their journey?
oh
Mhm.
check your impulsivity.
Yes. Yeah. Don't do all the courses.
No, you don't need to do all the courses. Also vary where you're doing your courses from,
Yeah.
because that is really good kind of to do. Don't if you have another job as well,
Yeah.
don't have a bad day at work and just go, right, that's it, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm going to do my dog training. Be careful.
Yes.
Get that transition period right. It's not forever. um it was hard. I found it hard to do because obviously you've got your head in two camps and
Yeah.
really you only want to be in one.
Yeah.
But it's worth doing it slowly. Something that isn't always a strong point of ours is patience.
Yeah.
Don't, oh well, you will, but try not to get frustrated if you've not got 10 clients after a week. It's
Yeah.
not, that's normal. Don't worry.
Yeah.
These things take time.
Yeah.
Build relationships and reach out to some people as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lovely trainers out there who do mentorships,
Yeah.
and it really is worth it as well.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to that community, isn't it? Finding like-minded communities and people that are willing to help. Because like with any kind of industry, there's good and bad sides of it, and you're going to get good and bad people. And I think as a neurodivergent person that might suffer from, RSD or a little bit of imposter syndrome or whatever that might be, I think if you tend to like only focus in like one camp or something, especially when it comes to, if you've done your certification or whatever it is with one type of person, try and expand, get out of that comfort zone a little bit and get out of expand your network a little bit, which isn't always easy to do, but it's about finding those communities that make you feel safe to to allow you to do that. And as a startup dog trainer as well, I feel that things can be very, very difficult because other trainers in particular have such an opinion of you should be part of this or you should be part of that, and sometimes it's so unhelpful when actually if by finding the right communities and the right support, they're going to go on a very different journey to what one could be if they're in those wrong circles type of thing.
Yeah, and you've got to try them to know they're not for you sometimes
Yeah,
as well.
definitely. Yeah, and not
And
being hard on yourself.
it's you've not failed. It's
Yeah.
just that wasn't the right place for you. You've not you know, and I will say there is a block button on social media for a reason.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You know, keep your peace, keep your safe space. Don't get embroiled in things. And I think as a new trainer as well, it can be tempting to get involved in things on
Yeah,
well, Facebook, places like that.
yeah,
They're not there to have their minds changed. They're there to put
yeah,
their opinion forward. Scroll on, save your
yeah.
stress, put it into your business instead.
Yeah, exactly that. And one of the things that I did when I was thinking, right, I'm definitely going to stop all this noise on the internet, and I only follow certain that things that are going to. So I use social media in a very different way. I'll go on and post about my business. I'll be in my groups and helping people and stuff. But when it comes to my news feed, I have changed my settings, so I only see things of people or pages that are actually going to motivate me, because you can quickly become on there and say everybody's highlights or opinions and things, and it can be quite a negative place, but also it's such a positive place if we learn how to use it correctly.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah. And on my last laptop, I've not figured out how to set it up on this one yet, but when you open it had an extension on it. So when you opened Facebook, it just had an
Yeah.
inspirational quote and no news feed.
Oh,
And that was
amazing.
so good because sometimes you
Yeah,
open it up and you immediately see something that draws you in. Whereas
yeah,
then it was just like, I'm here to do what I need to do. I'm not getting led on a tangent
yeah,
with something that's not even worth my time.
yeah, definitely. So
But
before
yeah,
I
it's just if you're starting out as a dog trainer and you have come from a different career, don't just be aware of that lack of routine that you've
yeah,
suddenly dropped that probably didn't suit you anyway, but that sudden change
mm,
can be hard.
yeah, yeah,
It really
definitely.
can. And it's definitely something that either the lack of routine or lack of structure is probably a better word,
Yeah,
depending on how your brain works, can not be great.
yeah,
So even if you just keep in some basic structures, like you eat lunch at a certain time, it's going to help you.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So it's been really, really exciting, interesting, and lovely to chat to you and see things from a different perspective. And I think that's one of the main things I wanted with this podcast, is to open it up to so many, because we're all so individual, just like our dogs are individual. And I think within neurodiversity as well, there isn't this one size fits all. And I think, as a dog training or a dog community, by opening it up and having more conversations with people, it just allows us to make that awareness even broader. So like say, no, your experiences are going to be different to my experiences, which is then going to be different to the next person's experiences. So it's been really lovely to chat to you. But before we go, I'm going to do what I always do and have a quick fire round of questions so we can get to know you a little bit more as a person. So the first one: tea or coffee?
Hey.
Tea. That's good, actually. Tea is actually winning now. When I first started doing the podcast, it was a coffee. The coffee was very much in the lead, and for me, I'm a tea person, so we're coming back out on top, which is good. if if you had to pick one, what is your favorite dog breed?
Oh, I actually don't know. It changes all the time. Right now,
Yeah,
in this week, it's Spaniels.
yeah,
If you'd have asked me a month ago, I'd probably have said Australian Shepherds, and then the month
yeah,
before that, Pointers. So
yeah. That's good. There's so many, isn't there? That's it's hard to
yeah,
pick a favorite. So that's good. We'll go with Spaniels for now. So,
for now, yeah, just for now.
what's your go-to dog product you use or recommend all the time?
Oh, just any product.
Yeah, could be anything.
Am I allowed to name brands?
Yeah.
I've got to say the JR Pate.
Oh yeah, yeah. It is very versatile, that one, isn't it? We've
Yeah,
like that as well. Yeah, very good. We've
yeah,
had we've had different people saying different things. Some people have gone Kong, some people have gone like say food based things. So It's a good one, that one. So when it comes to you and your own dog, do you prefer a lead walk or off lead adventure?
Lead adventure.
Yeah, it always gets one thinking. Everybody at the start of the podcast, everybody was like off lead, and then the last few I've done, they've been having a bit of a thought, and they're like, oh yeah, and they have to really think about that. So yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of the ones have been,
our walks have very much changed recently because we're down to one dog,
yeah,
and he loves it.
yeah, that's it. Oh, and then the last one, when it comes to you having a busy day, what's your favorite way to recharge after a busy day?
Oh. I'm a little bit geeky.
Yeah, fine.
And I like to get in, really nice cup of tea on the sofa, and I'll either watch a medical drama or like a historic castle thing.
Yeah, that's
And I
interesting because
just love to unwind like that.
yeah, a lot of people, it's interesting because a lot of people on the podcast have said a lot of it has been like TV, but they've gone, it's been such a, they've said, oh, I love the TV and I love either reality TV or like crime, murder, heavy, that kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, that's quite a contrast. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's
Oh,
either like the proper history buildings
yeah,
structure,
yeah.
or it's, I mean, my current thing at the minute, I'm way behind the times. I love watching The Good Doctor.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
really got me at the minute. So it's an episode of that and then get back on with whatever I need to do after that.
Oh, amazing one. And then the most important question really is if people are interested in working with you, how do they get in touch with you? Where can they find you?
They can find my website, which is yorkshirecaninecoach.co.uk,
Mhm.
or they can find me on Facebook, which again is Nikki Birkett, Instagram, Nikki Birkett Canine Coach. Yes. But really just drop me an email or anything. Just contact me any way you like, I'll find you.
That's it. What we'll do is we'll put the links at the bottom of this podcast so anybody listening can just click the links and get in touch with you that way nice and easily. But thank you very much for coming on the podcast. It's been really
Oh,
interesting
thank you.
to speak to you, and I'm sure our listeners have got lots and lots of value. So if you are watching the podcast for the first time, then make sure you subscribe and hit follow so you don't miss a future episode. So it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Nikki. Thank you for listening. There we go.